I want to start a childcare program, but I want to know how long does the licensing process take, because I actually don't even know if I can afford this whole licensing process. So how long does it take to actually get licensed as a childcare provider? Let's talk about it. So welcome back to my channel here at Educated Minds. My name is Dominique E. Savage and I am a childcare coach. In this channel and on this vibe here, in this community, we talk everything childcare startup, business, finance, organization, everything under the sun that you need to successfully start, grow, and organize your childcare program, okay? So in this video today, I want to talk about a number one branding question that you guys have been asking me is, how long does the childcare licensing process take? And I'm gonna give y'all multiple scenarios and ways to look at it. Why? Because at this point in time, I've opened up 4 different childcare locations, and all one of those timelines have been really, really different. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you wanna consider when you ask yourself, how long does it take in the licensing process? First thing I wanna do is just like break the licensing process down to you, okay? This is an overview. I have a much longer video on how to pass your licensing process. Check out that video. I'll go a little bit more in depth. But before you can ask yourself, how long does it take, you need to know what the actual steps are. And this is a disclaimer. All the steps vary state to state, but I can say no matter what state you're in, as long as you're in the United States of America, for the most part, all of the agencies and the processes are the same, okay? So I'm gonna give you a breakdown. The first thing you wanna do when you start your childcare program, you're gonna go through what they call the zoning process, okay? It's like your license and inspection department. That's your municipality building department, no matter where you're kind of located. You got to figure out, is it zoned, okay? Is it zoned at your home? Is it zoned in your basement? Can you have children in this space? Is it okay? And so that's a whole phase all by itself, the zoning phase. Once you get done your zoning phase, all the architectural designs are turned in, the city submitted, good to go, you'll get what's called your certificate of occupancy. Once you get the certificate of occupancy, now you can move on to your next phase. And many times your certificate of occupancy determines, and this goes into the timeline, okay? So if you get a building that was already a daycare center, you're not gonna be spending a lot of money or as much time as you would if you got a building that was a car shop. Right? So if you get a building that's a car shop, it's going to take you much longer to get that building zoned as a childcare program, opposed to if you got a building that was already a childcare program, it was already zoned as a childcare program, all you pretty much is doing is renewing that zoning and or fixing a couple things as it may have changed over the years. So again, without a certificate of occupancy, meaning it was never zoned, meaning that it was another business and you're doing a full-on build out and a full-on flip, that will take much longer than a building that was already a childcare program, already zoned as a childcare program, and you're now just switching some things to get the certificate of occupancy faster. Okay. All right, so your next phase is going to be the health department. And many times, as I've learned in my consultation with multiple clients nationwide, is that some states do health department and your licensing department all in one inspection. And that's initially until you get open. Some places do, nope, you gotta go through the health department first and then you gotta go through the licensing department. So these are kind of either can be together or they can be separately. But that is the remaining spaces of how you gotta get open. You gotta go through everything that's required in your health department, right? And then last but not least, you gotta go through everything that's required in a state. That's more of like your classrooms, your furniture, your files, your credentials, all of those things, okay? So that's like your overall baseline. Your zoning, your health department, and your state. Those are your baselines when it thinks about the actual timeline and how long it takes to open. And based off the first level, which is going to be your zoning, that is really going to determine all the other months that it takes to get open when you got to go through your health department or you got to go through your state. So think about that when you're asking yourself, how long does it take? Familiarize yourself with the process for your individual. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk to you and give you guys a scenario as if you did not get a daycare, meaning that it was already not a daycare. So maybe it was, I don't know, a hair shop, a car shop, a supermarket, like whatever it was, you know, as an actual childcare center. And so in that space, it could take anywhere from 3, 4, 5 months for the building to actually get properly zoned. Why? Because you have to sometimes hire an attorney. Sometimes you have to hire architectural design. Sometimes you have to add extra electrical panels, and or sometimes you might have to add the exit egress. Like there's multiple things you gotta meet the code in order for it to be properly zoned. And meeting those codes costs money, Meeting those codes require contractors. Meeting those codes require that the contractor comes out or that the city comes back out and make sure everything's good. Also making sure that the architectural designs are approved. So that whole process, I have witnessed for us personally, it has taken about 6 months because we're not on our time. We're on contractor's time. We're on the city time. Every single thing can need a permit. Permits take time to pull and get done. Every single thing can need, let me send this off, then we're waiting for approval. So that's why I say, without it being already a daycare center, that whole process is eating up your first 5-6 months, okay? So think about that when you're thinking about your whole licensing space. So I'm giving that 5 months, and these are rough, so don't kill me in the comments. It can go faster, it can go longer. I've seen it go longer. Our one building, we thought, oh, we're gonna be open in 6 months, then open that building up for a whole year. It can go longer, okay? And I've seen that happen on multiple occasions. So be prepared to still be paying rent during those 8, 9, 10 months when you're not open, okay? All right, so now that we're understanding a building that is completely never was a daycare, and now you got it zoned, you got everything's approved by your license and inspection department or your municipality department, whatever one it is for your state. They're like, yep, it's zoned, you're good to go. Here's your certificate of occupancy. Now is when you're going to jump into your next phase, and your next phase is going to be all of the health requirements and then go into your state requirements. All right, so now we're going to talk about some of the health requirements, and some of your health requirements when you're in that process of setting up that space is obviously going to be all of the requirements of your refrigerators, your signage that you may need help for, any of the areas that you need, your sinks, your toilets, your plumbing, your water temperatures, like those are all the things you need. So during that phase, you might be working with what? A plumber, right? You might be ordering all your equipment and all of your things that you need in your kitchen and in your bathrooms to get that open. But ideally, from your license and inspection architectural report, you're gonna know how many toilets you need. You're gonna know how many sinks you need. You're gonna know all that well before you get to the health part. The health part, you buying, you ordering, you booking, and you scheduling. Okay, and last but not least, it's also going to take some time. You might need to take a required like a health servant safety class, because if you have to take that required health and servant safety class, that's also going to take more time. So really, when you're thinking about all of your health and safety requirements, you really want to plan out how many permits is going to require, how many licenses is going to require, and what that timeline looks like. So give or take, you could be anywhere from 2 months, or you could be anywhere from 3 months, and that's like on a safety net. Safety net is more time, because we always think like that and people don't work like that. All right, last but not least, guys, this is going to be the last phase, and this is getting ready for your actual state inspection. This is where you're getting like literally ready for the state to come in there, do their eyes, get your files ready, all of that good stuff, figure out your menus, what you're serving the children, all your policies and procedures. So a lot of your policies and procedures is on your time, but from the time that you turn in your state application and you tell them that you're ready, that's your window. So that's you setting up the classrooms, that's you ordering all your toys and your materials, your furniture, your diaper changing tables, like all the things that you need to have the building flow. Because when that state inspector walks in there, you're ready. Like, it's not like, oh, this one is ready, but that one's not ready. No. The state inspector is walking in there saying that my whole building is ready to operate tomorrow. Okay, so that timeline window could take you anywhere at least about 60 days, because ideally you're going to be ordering furniture well before you know, you even get to the, oh, now I'm ready for the state. Like, you will already have built out your classrooms. You're gonna know how many tables you want, how high chairs you want. You're gonna know what toys you're ordering from. Like, you're gonna kind of know all of those things the further you get deep into it. But that's also where you're gonna be getting your signs put up for the outdoors and all of your marketing materials and things like that, hiring staff. So that's gonna take you anywhere from like that 3 months. So on average, for a building that has never been an actual child care program before and you're doing a full-on flip, I say safely give yourself 10, 11 months. And I'm being completely honest. If it goes faster, great, amazing. But to really allot yourself and kind of know what's going to happen, allot yourself at least 10 to 11 months, because you're gonna run into hiccups along the road. I've seen it in our own startup process. I've seen it in many of my clients' startup processes. It's just a part of the game. It's just like a restaurant. When you want to open up a restaurant, it's called the long game. Like, it's going to take time to get permits and liquor licenses and all those things. So it takes time. It's not like you're just on your own space. So give yourself that 11-month window when you're thinking about getting a program that was not a child care program, okay? Now is for the good part. So now I want you to take into consideration all the things that I mentioned. Your licensing department, which is your zoning, okay? So your zoning, your health, and then your state inspection. All three of those inspection windows still is the same, but imagine if you found a building that was already a child care program, okay? First and foremost, the 5 months that it takes for zoning, you're gonna kind of condense that. That might take you 60 days, 2 months. Okay. Why? Because you don't got to go through all the architectural designs. You're either going to resubmit the designs that was already submitted, or you're going to like not add no structural new changes. Like, it's going to be a little bit much more faster. So that's anywhere from 2 to 3 months versus like 5 to 6 months. That right there is tightening up the gap. Okay, then you're gonna obviously go through the same process of your health department and go through the same process of your state department. But your health department, you might walk into the facility and they already got it built out for you. You don't gotta figure out the kitchens. You don't gotta figure out the toilets and the sinks. Why? Because it already was a daycare. So it's the foundation is laid there for you. So that additional 3 months for health and for the state can be condensed into 60 days based off your budget, based off your support, based off if you got handymen or contractors or cousins or help around to get the building flipped and ready to rock and roll. Okay, so that's the real difference when you're thinking about your startup process and the licensing process. The licensing process is not really the state that you're waiting on. It's you and the type of building you choose from the initial beginning on when you sign on that dotted line.